Mad Max. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Become Mad Max, the lone warrior in a do you see what I did there with the Mad Max? Yeah. Become Mad Max, the lone warrior in a savage post-apocalyptic world where cars are key to survival. In this action-packed open-world third-person action game, you must fight to stay alive in the wasteland, using brutal on-ground and vehicular against vicious gangs. They must have combat. You're supposed to have combat in there, mate. It should say, using brutal on-ground and vehicular combat against vicious gangs of bandits. A reluctant hero with an instinct for survival, Max wants nothing more than to leave the madness behind and find solace in a storied Plains of Silence. Players are challenged with treacherous missions as they scavenge the dangerous landscape for supplies to build the ultimate combat vehicle. So what is Mad Max? Well, it's a game where you play as Mad Max, obviously, and you have got to rebuild your car after it's destroyed and stolen by this nasty man. What a bastard. And so you team up with this hunchback guy who's annoying. He is in your fucking ear all the game. But basically what happens is he's building you this car because he's an expert mechanic, and he needs you to get all these parts, which involve lots of quests to get, and you need scrap as well, because the scrap is kind of like the currency of the game. With the scrap you can buy everything. Essentially the map is a big open world map. Imagine Far Cry 3, full of the enemy bases, and as you go around liberating them bases, it reduces the influence and the patrols of the enemy in that region. And also when you take a base, that base is full of allies who start sending you scrap. Not much, but a little bit of scrap every so often. So it's in your interest to reclaim the map by taking over all of the enemy bases, and you get a nice healthy income of scrap. You have a garage with where your car is, and you have the mechanic, the hunchback guy, and he will equip your car with everything you need. You can put bigger engines in it, bigger wheels on it, spikes, ramming things. I've got a harpoon launcher on it. You've got a sniper rifle built on the back of it. Loads of different ways of ramming. Absolutely shitloads of customization going on. Speed, handling, because it handles shit at the beginning, but you can improve that with different components that you put on. You can also buy things for weapons to improve your guns. There's only 2 types of weapons that I've come across so far that are guns. You've got your sawn-off shotgun, the Mad Max one, and you've also got a sniper rifle, and you can increase the magazine sizes on that and the ranges and things like that. Again, with scrap, using the hunchback guy. You can improve your stats of yourself, by seeing this weird guy who lives on a mountain who carries a big bed on his back or something and blows drugs into your face and talks like an arsehole. That's all I know about him, but if you give him tokens, you get access to the perk system. It's just a fucking perk system. We've got to have a perk system for the kids. The kids like perks, give them it. You know, the perks are great, you know perks like, if you click this perk, you can loot more ammunition. Yeah, how does that work? Because if there's 2 fucking bullets there on the ground, when you have this perk, it's now 3 bullets. A bullet just appears out of nowhere. It's amazing, guys. You know, when you fill your water bottle up, because you need water to live, when you fill your water bottle up, you can put a perk in where you get 10% more water. Out of nowhere, just comes out of thin air. But that's where water comes out of, isn't it? Rain. Yeah, never mind. The perk system's a big pile of fucking bantha piss, as it is in every fucking game. So the whole game revolves around, you've got this big main quest, loads of little side quests, lots of strange characters that you would expect straight out of a Mad Max film. I haven't seen the latest Mad Max movie, but I've seen all of the others. They were all terrible except for the very, very first one, which was called Mad Max. That was actually a great movie back in the 80s. The rest was shite. But saying that doesn't mean you're not going to like this game. I like the game. Now, I hated it at first because of the dull combat, the terrible driving with the keyboard and mouse, the drab story, drab characters, drab setting, the hand-holding, which is just horrific for the first 3 hours, no crouching, no walking, you know, all that shit. The combat revolves around 3 fucking buttons. Left button spam,
does lots of different moves which you don't know what he's going to do. He just fucking does them. All he requires you to do is point him in the right direction, be close enough to the enemy, and then just spam that button. Now, as you're pummeling somebody with the button spam of the left mouse, you can change to holding the button down, which is a kind of a power swing where you'll hit them really hard, but it doesn't go as quick. If you're fighting multiple enemies, the others will stand in a nice orderly queue, as in every other console game, waiting for you to be ready to fight them. The only slight difference is, as you are fighting multiple enemies, one will always jump in before you've finished killing the person you're fighting. And when that happens, a little yellow icon appears above his head because he's too fucking stupid to know otherwise. And when that happens, you press the right mouse button and then you will block. You'll move into a block and stop him. He'll turn to face. You don't have to do any of that and he'll block. But the guy that he's been fighting previously is probably still alive. Then he'll come back at you, so your right mouse button again, which blocks him. You can't keep doing this indefinitely. You're going to have to get out of the way. This is where the third move comes in, which is your forward roll out of the way. And that is essential when you're getting a lot of people closing in on you, or if somebody has the red flashy icon above the head, because the red flashy icon above the head means you cannot block this move. You have to avoid it. So that's the combat in a nutshell. Now, before you all laugh, as I did, at how pathetically lame it was, I'm actually starting to enjoy it now. Yep. Unfortunately, guys, I don't know what's happened, but after 8.6 hours, I'm actually enjoying the combat, and I'll tell you why. I hated the Batman combat because it was shit. In Batman, as you saw with Rabbit, he sat and he beat about 8 guys by himself by simply spamming the left mouse button. Because in Batman, what happens is, as the enemy, let's say you're fighting somebody, you're punching them, another enemy comes towards you. If you just keep spamming the left mouse button, Batman would turn to face them. He would detect the threat, automatically turn to face them and start attacking them, and if somebody else came in, he would turn to face them. Max doesn't. He will continue to fight the same guy until you interact by pressing the right mouse button, which says, hey, forget the guy you're fighting, block that other guy who's coming at you. And that's the difference, and that's why I like this combat better than the Batman one, because this requires a lot more skill. Batman was full of fucking combos as well. This isn't full of combos, which is another plus, because combos is just so fucking 80s. So it is a lot better, the combat. It's more satisfying as well, because you're not doing ridiculous moves. You're doing the kind of stuff you would do in a real fight. If you've ever been in a real fight, you'll know that the best time to punch them, if you can't get the first punch in, the first punch is always the killer. Always do the first. If you're in a top tip, if you know a fight is gonna happen, don't wait for them to punch you. You punch them first, as hard as you can, right in the fucking nose. Mac, stop inside. I'm not saying do that. I am saying do that. Don't do that. Yes, do that, but only if you know you're gonna have a fight. See? Don't just go and do that. Don't just walk up to some and say, hey, Max says, bam! You know, don't do that. But yeah, if you can't do that and they attack you first, then the best time to hit them is as soon as you can after they've tried to hit you, because they're off balance. It's called a counter. And so Mad Max does that a lot, and I like it because it feels good. I actually started shouting at my screen. You know, I would be like wanting 4 guys to attack me because it's so fucking good. You got them all surrounded and they're all giving it the big one, you know, and then the first one comes in and you just block them, and it looks so good because you just proper blocks, not Batman kind of blocks. These are proper earthly blocks. You know, if they're trying to kick you, he'll grab the leg like you do in karate. It's great. And then you just start pummeling them, then another guy comes in and you say, no, block. You interact, you right mouse block, then you start attacking him, then you might have to roll out the way, then you'll see a club on the floor, pick it up, start swinging the motherfucker. And I actually love the combat now, and you know, I'm sorry if that offends people who are, you know, PC elitists, but hey, I can't help it. I'm liking the game. I hated it for 3 or 4 hours, but I've had to persist because I'm doing a proper review, and I'm 8.5 hours into it now. I've been doing shitloads of grinding for scrap. I've only paid a little bit of attention to the main quest, done about 5 or 6 missions, but I've done shitloads of side quests, cleaning my side of the map out, and I'm loving it. The grind is like it's worth doing. You want more scrap because you want to improve your car. You want to put a bigger exhaust on it, a V8 engine in it. You want to put spikes on the side, a ramming bar on the front. You want to install sniper rifles. I've got a harpoon installed on it so that you can actually harpoon other cars, pull their fucking wheels off. If you come across an enemy base that has a gate, I can harpoon the and just pull the fucking gate off. It's so satisfying. It's just great. You can also upgrade your own weapons as well, so you need scrap for that. And ammunition is as rare as fucking Rocky Horse shit. I'm not kidding you. You find 2 bullets. You find 2 bullets in this game, you are straight off to the corner for a wank. You just must. I've got 2 bullets. I've got 2 bullets. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's just, that's how rare bullets are. You know, you really do need to be careful with your bullets. I've gone into pretty much, I'd say, 80% of my fights with no bullets whatsoever. You just walk, no weapons, just me fucking fists. And it's so, you feel like you're surviving because there's hardly any water. You need water. Water's like first aid. You drink it and it replenishes your health, but you've only got 1 canteen and you can't carry any more than that. And there's hardly any places where you can actually refill it. So when you see a water hole, you fill it up. So you have to be careful. You feel like you're surviving. You're living on dog food and maggots. That's all I'm eating as far as food's concerned. But I have got a base and I'm building the base up, and it's great because it's like my base of operations, and you can build different workbenches in there to make ammo and to have water coming in, but you have to find the bits. You don't just get the bits, you've got to go and find the bits, and they're in enemy camps, so you're taking over the camps. There's lots to do, there's so much to do, but I'm just kind of driven now by the need to improve my cars, because car combat is a massive part of this game, and I found it awful on the controller. But that's me. I'm not saying it is awful on the controller, it probably isn't, but I found the aiming of the shotgun and the harpoon while driving with a controller terrible. The driving with the controller is great, but I couldn't do the aiming with it, so I just gave that up and I went back to mouse and keyboard, where I took a hit on my driving skills, because obviously left is full left lock, right is full right lock. You know, there's no analog steering on a keyboard, and I can't use my wheel because they haven't allowed that to happen, which is ridiculous in a game called Mad Max, which is all about driving, but that's another story. I've kind of took a hit on my driving skill by using the keyboard, but I've took a big plus on my aiming and accuracy of firing the weapons that comes with the car. So you do side ramming and all the rest of it, and if you blow a car up, you basically get the scrap that car's worth. But better still, if you capture the car and take it back to the base, you get to keep that car, and you also get a bonus of scrap for that as well. So to fight in the car, you're just basically ramming them, you're blowing the tyres off, you're harpooning them. I harpooned one guy and pulled him out of the car. The harpoon actually hit the guy, and it put me off, and I was pissing myself laughing because it was kind of bugged and it was swinging round like a fucking glowing lasso, and I was just so bad, and I couldn't drive for laughing. I'll tell you what is missing though. There are no motorbikes in this. Now, anybody who's watched any of the other Mad Max films will have seen motorbikes everywhere. There's just as many motorbikes as cars in the films. There's not one motorbike in this, which I found very odd. There may be some late game, but so far haven't seen any. While you're also on the road, you have to watch out for storms, and they are amazing, guys. You'll be just driving along and it'll be a nice sunny day, and then all of a sudden the little hunchback will go, "Storm coming, Mac! Storm coming!" And you're just like, oh my goodness. And then it's a race to get like out of there if you haven't got the full armour on your car, or any armour on your car basically. And my car's very lightly armoured, so I was making a rush back for base, and I kept looking behind us, and I could see the storm clouds just bubbling over, and it just looks amazing. And when the storm hits, you can't see shit. It just goes dark. There's like hurricane force winds, there's debris flying all over, and it will kill you. It will kill you eventually if you don't get to shelter. And I just made it back to my base. So if you're a PC gamer, you can play this. I'm playing this with keyboard and mouse, and it is good fun. You've just got to get past all the shit bits, you know. I mean, Witcher 3, I've never touched that since, because I couldn't get past the clunky, awful combat system in that. Whereas with this, it's not clunky, it's very fluent, and it does kind of make sense. Yes, it's basic with 3 buttons, but it's the satisfyingness of the fights. The fights are just so satisfying. In Witcher 3, I didn't find them a bit satisfying. This is much more satisfying. And Batman was just horrific. with him just basically spamming the left mouse button. He leaps around like a prick. You don't even have to be in range. But with this, it's much more satisfying just watching the real type of combat. So there you go. You feel like you're surviving in the wilderness. It actually is a bit of a survival game, and yes, it's got fast travel. Yes, it's got all the kind of shite you would expect with a console game. And yes, it's in third person, which allows you to exploit like in the bases, which is why I hate third person games. You know, you can kind of see over the top of barricades, round corners, and it's just, that's why third person should not be allowed unless you're playing a naked chick with a hot ass. I mean, fair enough, you know, if you have that, but you don't, and it would be much better in first person. You can drive in first person, but you can't control Max on the ground in first person, which is a big fucking shame, because it would have been so much better. But hey, £34. I picked mine up for about 27. I think I paid on Greenman Gaming. There's 40% off. There's a link in the description, which you can use if you want to go and buy it on Greenman Gaming. I'll get a little bit of commission off that as well, so if you want to support the channel, you can do that. But even if you buy it off Steam to get the perk or to get the option to refund it, it's worth a buy. I'm thumbing this up, and I know I'm going to take flack for this. People are going to say, "Mom, it's a console port with 3-button combat." Well, play it first, because it's satisfying combat. It really is. There's nothing like just punching somebody in the face and stamping on the bollocks. It's just great fun. So there you go, that's it really. It does get a bit repetitive, but like I said to you earlier on in the review, when you're grinding for a cause, and there's a lot of things to grind for in this, it kind of makes it worth it, because you get that satisfying present at the end when you get the bumper that you wanted, the engine that you wanted, the tyres, the protection, the armour, the weaponry. It's got pretty much long-term appeal for me. So there you go, that's Mad Max. I'm going to give it a thumb up because I'm enjoying the game. Simplistic as it may be, but it is really good fun. And isn't that what gaming's supposed to be? It's fun, and this is fun.